expected to call on strike tomorrow, Friday, February 18, 2020, following a meeting with the Parliamentary Committee on Education. National Association of Graduate Teachers calls on Education Ministry to halt advertisement of head teachers for STEM schools in the country. And France analyzing European force to withdraw troops from Mali almost after 8 years. Good evening, it's time for news. We are live on GTV, GBC News and DSTV channel 278. My name is Clara Lano. My name is Rahmatu Mahmoud Jawando. We also streaming live via Facebook on Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We also have Robert Frimpon Mansu to do the sign language. Now to the details. The University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, is expected to call off its strike tomorrow following a meeting with the Parliamentary Committee on Education. UTAG has been on strike for the past 5 weeks over their conditions of service. Earlier this week, the Labour Division of the Accra High Court ordered the teachers to call off the strike. However, the association is yet to do so. After today's meeting with the Education Committee, ranking member on the committee, Mr. Peter Nototu Koto, told GBC News that UTAG has shown readiness to call off the strike.
We made some headway by bringing the two parties closer, and the minister assured us that even if they wanted them to meet this night, they will be ready to do so, based on the instructions that we have given them. So they are committed to it. And they have also committed that whatever they will agree on as due the lecturers will take effect from 1st January 2022. Having listened to us, and we saw the atmosphere that prevailed at the end or towards the end of the meeting, they will go by the advice of the committee and the call of the strike. So I think they are committed to it. And as a committee, we'll be surprised if they should go against the advice of the committee. Having listened to them, and they also having listened to us with the frank discussions that took place, and with the commitments from both sides, we believe strongly that by close of tomorrow, they should be able to call off the strike. And then, with the condition, that they also gave that condition, that the government must be ready to sit down with them within the shortest possible time, then they resolve the matter.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Mr. Ignatius Bafui, told the MPs that government is determined to sit down with the UTAG to resolve their differences.
That if today they call off the strike, I wouldn't mind asking that we lock ourselves in the room and make sure that we finish negotiations before we come out. So government is ever willing to sit down with UTAG, and we have always demonstrated that willingness to negotiate with them. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure this House and to assure the country that government is ever ready to jaw with UTAG to bring life back to the universities.
GBC News visited some universities across the country to find out how the impasse is affecting students and the academic calendar.
Enthusiasm to learn, to really sit down and then like go through the slides, and also it has made the whole academic system still very stagnant because of this, and also it also affects we that will also graduate, because as there's strike, it's also pushing back the graduation.
Ever since I was in school, I've never met any lecturer, and even some time before, there was this unofficial lectures some TAs were organizing for us, but it had to be called off because of the strike and some interference from the lectures too. I'm even deciding on going back home. I'm coming all the way from Kumasi, so
Even though this strike is really, how do you call it, affecting us, it's not also fair on their part. It is also not fair. So the government should do what they are supposed to do so that the lecturers come back to the classrooms for everything to work out normally. Because with this, if their demands are not being met and this strike continues, it's going to affect our academic calendar, where it will be taken, to be pushed away, and it's going to make everything really messy. So we are pleading with the government to hear their cries so that everything will be restored back to normal.
Academics has been affected with 400 students. We have a project work we need to attend to, and since lectures are not going on, you can't even visit a lecturer to even solicit for his views on your project work and other stuffs, which makes works very difficult in the long run. So basically, it's very hard with the 400 students. It's very, very hard. I would advise government to sit down with UTAG and negotiate very well for students to come back and also have a nice, steady period.
Obviously, I'm not happy about what is going on in the country. It's going to put pressure on the students when school resumes. So I think government should just, not if they are not able to even they are not able to give what the lecturers are asking for, at least they can do a little. There should be a mutual ground. They should, at least if you are not giving them, or give them a part. If you cry for the hawk, you cry for the chicken too.
This semester we had 11 weeks with, examination and all of that. And as of now, I think almost 4 or 5 weeks are already gone. And so, looking at the workload we are supposed to cover this semester, we've not started anything yet, and it's very, very disturbing. Very, very disturbing. So I'm just wondering how we'll be able to cover the rest of the semester. Should these lectures return to the classroom, I'll be able to recover this workload within the space of 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks left.
Now, at the Tamale campus of the University for Development Studies, the president of the institution, Professor Victor Mogri, says until they get a directive from their national executives, they will remain on strike.
If you see the court's ruling, it made mention that we should take steps to actually call off the industrial action. So until we take those steps, all those at the local level, we cannot actually take any steps on that. We cannot take our own decision and say that we're actually going to call off a strike. And we don't also expect any other person to actually start to issue statements indicating that lectures are actually going to begin. We don't expect anyone to actually indicate that, because we were the ones who actually took that decision to do a suspension. And the court also indicated that we should take those steps. So until we take those steps, we don't expect anyone to actually do that. And I think there is still a bit of time for us to do that, because I don't think that the court actually indicated that we should do so immediately.
Students of the Simon Dudon Dombo University and the Upper West region have asked UTAG and the government to soften their stance and come to an agreement in the ongoing strike. Speaking to GBC News, Swala Abdul Wahab Atwa, the students complained that the continuous strike has put them in a state of uncertainty.
Students of SDDUB said their situation is very peculiar because lecturers of this university had earlier on embarked on strike before the one declared by UTAG.
The interesting part about this strike is mainly our campus here. We faced this earlier on before. This is more or less like a top-up. Because last we came and then we suffered this predicament, and then we are suffering it again. So, and as a level 300 student, I'm deeply affected. Moreover, I'm studying economics and I have a lot to work on, and then we haven't even touched much, and then they are on strike. This has greatly affected us.
The impact of the tax strike on me as a student is that it has increased the cost of living, and then also decreased my standard of living as well.
We were supposed to start our exams on 16th of February, that is yesterday, and we were supposed to vacate on 4th March. But now how things are going, we think we'll be here for more than the month that we were supposed to be here. And one painful thing is that they keep on increasing things. And as we are here, we are spending. And instead of them to maintain the prices, they are also increasing. So it is affecting us financially and also academically.
They are therefore appealing to the lecturers and the government to temper justice with mercy and resolve the impasse amicably.
We are pleading. If there is anything they can do to let our lecturers come back and then to continue with our lectures, we'll be very happy. We'll be very happy.
We are just pleading with the government that because what we know is the UTAG said they will not come back. They are not ready to negotiate. So what they want to know, we are pleading with the government that you should just help them so that they can come back to campus and we will continue our studies.
Students of SDD-UB say their situation is very dire and that government needs to sit down with the lecturers to find an amicable solution to the impasse. For GBC News, Swala Abdul Wahab. Wow.
From Cape Coast, our correspondent Kingsley Nanabwede reports that students on the university campus have taken their destiny into their own hands by studying on their own, while some have also gone home waiting for some good news. Interestingly, other groups and organizations are also taking advantage to engage their members in educational sessions.
Most of the organizations on campus, whether religious or political and so on and so forth, they are taking advantage also holding programs for the members or the students because they are just here, some are learning on their own. I've just chanced on a group of them having their own program here and I want to find out from them what exactly they feel about the situation.
Because of the strike, most students are gone home. Okay, so what we are doing is that we are trying to learn on our own as students and also try to help the level 100s, those that are now coming in, to know their way around campus.
As a student, I always prepare ahead of my lectures because I'm in a school of pressure. You know, when you are here, a lot of pressure is there. So because of that, I take that as an advantage to learn on my own. My lectures, they are back. Whatever I've learned, I'll go through it and it will be simple for me. That's what I do.
The strike has really affected us positively and then negatively. Looking at this, we have students that really pick or understand things when lectures teach class. Others too, they have to learn on their own. So in this case where the strike issue is on board, the students that always pick when lectures teach in class, they are really going to suffer. Even if the person learns on his or her own, the person won't pick up. So we are urging the lecturers to come back, to please come back and help us.
My advice to them is that if they are to get any benefit before coming, they should do so. If not, I'm very sure that they will be putting the blame on me and that our studies won't go smoothly. So they should get all benefit they need before coming because I don't want to face such situation in the near future.
We're really demanding them to come back. We've seen the essence of the lectures to us. You know, we can learn on our own, but without guidance and certain things that we didn't know.
The National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRA, has called on the Ministry of Education to, as a matter of urgency, halt the current advertisement of head teachers for STEM schools in the country. According to the leadership of NAGRA, the GES has the necessary guidelines in recruiting personnel to head the various secondary schools in the country. At a news conference in Accra, Mr. Angel Kabiru of NAGRAT also expressed worry over the unjustifiable removal of teachers from the government's payroll. We bring you a set of the news conference.
Asking people to apply for headmasters and headmistresses in the newly completed science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM schools that were established by government. The impression is being created as if the STEM schools are different from senior high schools. in this country. The knowledge we have as a union is that STEM schools are senior high schools with emphasis in the teaching of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects. If this situation is allowed to prevail, it will be the beginning of political appointments of heads of our institutions in the Ghana Education Service, and we cannot accept that situation. Wanton removal of teachers' names from the payroll of the Ghana Education Service. Due to complaints and petitions from teachers all over the country, it has become clear that officials of the Ghana Education Service GES at various levels are taking advantage of their positions to cause the deletion of the names of teachers from the payroll. In other words, removing teachers' names so as that they don't receive salaries. The reason for some of these deletions are so flimsy, and the procedure of going through the prescriptions of the Code of Conduct is usually violated. Whereas it is easy to delete the salary of the teacher, it becomes very difficult and near impossible to restore same, even if the reason for the deletion of the salary is rectified.
We now shift our attentions to the courts. The founder and chief executive of the defunct Capital Bank, Mr. William Atuisian, who is standing trial for his alleged role in the collapse of the bank, has denied the approval of a transfer of 65 million Ghana cedis from Capital Bank under the guise of placing at Nordia Capital. According to Mr. Atuisian, he was a non-executive member of the collapsed bank and therefore was not part of its daily operations. Mr. Atuisian also denied acting with the third accused, Mr. Tete Nete, to transfer 30 million Ghana cedis out of the said 65 million to MC Management Services. Mr. Atuisian said this under cross-examinations on Thursday, February 17, 2022.
Prosecution led by Chief State Attorney Mrs. Evelyn Kilson, continuing the cross-examination of Mr. William Atuisian on Thursday morning, questioned the former chief executive of the defunct Capital Bank on alleged transfers made from the bank under his watch to some companies owned by him. According to Mr. Atuisian, although he was aware of the sum of a transfer of 65 million Ghana cedis from Capital Bank to Nordia Capital and subsequent release of 30 million Ghana cedis by the Nordia Capital, which was part of the previous amount to MC Management Service, he had no hand in the authorization of the said transfers because he was not an executive to any of the companies mentioned. Mrs. Kilson also queried the accused on the addition of the said 30 million Ghana cedis to an amount of 100 million Ghana cedis from all the capital and was used as stated capital for sovereign Africa. The accused person explained that the transaction was a requisition made by the Capital Africa Group to Nordia Capital for a commercial paper. The prosecution then asked Mr. Atuisian about the transfer of the 100 million Ghana cedis out of the 130 million Ghana cedis to Capital Africa Group after it had been used as stated capital for Sovereign Bank. The accused, in a repetitive answer, told the court he did not authorize the said transfer and that in the discovery, it was a placement made by Sovereign Bank to Nordia Capital and then a commercial paper between Nordia Capital and the Capital Africa Group. Further cross-examination continues Thursday, February 24, 2022.
Ghana, Rwanda and Senegal are partnering with German biotechnology company BioNTech SE to fill, finish and package BioNTech mRNA vaccines in Africa. However, vaccines manufactured in these facilities will be dedicated to domestic use and export to other member states of the African Union at not for a profit price. This was announced at a high-level meeting in Marburg, Germany on Wednesday, 16th February 2022.
At the Marburg high-level meeting in Germany, BioNTech SE introduced a scalable vaccine production mRNA manufacturing facility based on a container solution dubbed as BioNTech, the state-of-the-art modular production facility, which consists of one drug substance and one drug product module, each built of 6 ISO-sized containers. Each module requires 800 square meters of space and offers an estimated capacity of several hundreds of millions of doses of mRNA-based vaccines such as biotech COVID-19, malaria and tuberculosis vaccines, if they are successfully developed and approved. The first BioNTech is expected to be shipped to Rwanda and Senegal in mid-2022, and Ghana will support the manufacturing, will fill unfinished capacities. Presidents Akufo-Addo, Macky Sall and Paul Kagame of Senegal and Rwanda witnessed the presentation of BioNTech Modular Production Facility in Marburg. For President Akufo-Addo, this Pan-African project fits very well into Ghana's roadmap for vaccine development and manufacturing developed by the Vaccine Manufacturing Committee, which he constituted nearly 1 year ago. BioNTech will be responsible for the delivery and setup of the modules, while local authorities and government will ensure the needed infrastructure. BioNTech will initially staff, own and operate the facilities to support the safe and rapid initiation of the production of mRNA-based vaccine doses. In the longer term, the company plans to transfer manufacturing capacities and know-how to local partners to enable sustainable production of mRNA vaccines in Africa. Edward Nyakun, reporting for GBC News.
And back here in Ghana, Dagbon Forum, a pressure group in Dagbon, has called for compensation for victims of Sunday's clash between the police and residents, which resulted in the death of a young man and left 8 others injured. Addressing a news conference in Tamale on Thursday, the Vice President of Dagbon Forum, Chief Mahama Santaru, expressed displeasure over the recent conduct of some police officers in the northern region. The Dagbon Forum is therefore calling for an end to police brutalities in the region. Correspondent Mutala Issa with the update.
There are still a number of victims lying at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, including a young man whose face has been disfigured. Yesterday, the father asked that he be airlifted to Accra for further medical attention. This morning, we are just coming out of a press conference where the Dagbon Forum, a pressure group here in the northern region, is asking for justice for the victims, including the deceased. I want to find out from the Vice President of the Dagbon Forum, Chief Mahama Santaru, what specifically are you asking for from government?
We are asking for the police service to ensure that the right thing is done, not only for the deceased, but for the injured. And to do so, the right investigation must be done. And for the right investigation to be done, the right people who are independent, impartial, must do the investigation so that a conclusion can be made and submitted to the IGP for the relevant action to be taken.
At least, are you satisfied that as we speak, 2 police officers have already been arraigned before court? And does that satisfy you?
The satisfaction would only come after the end of the whole process. 2 people being arrested or arraigned and interdicted, about 6 people, that is part of the process, and it's only a process, it's not an event. So it is part of the process. So we will follow it and see what becomes the outcome.
Chief Mahama Santaru is the Vice President of the Dagbon Forum. What is of interest is that across Lamashegu and the northern region, chiefs continue to impress upon the youth here to remain calm. From the Lamashegu Palace, Mutala Issa for GBC News.
The Ghana Meteorological Agency says it is unhappy with its current condition of service. It is also complaining about the inadequate equipment to properly do their work and meet the required standards. The GMA's role is too critical as it provides information on the weather for aviation services. The union vice chairman of the agency is Mr. Nana Kofi Opoku.
strike came about as a result of some few issues behind the scenes. It's been for quite some time now that we have realized that there are lots of the agencies dwindling and dwindling by the day. The attrition rate for staff is increasing by the day. It takes a very long time to train somebody in somebody, and for that person to do this professional training and to kind of get done on the forecasting team, whether the weather forecast or the climate or seasonal forecast in those things. It takes a very long time. But within the past 1 year, we have had not less than about committees, department to other scientific institutions or other organizations because our conditions of service are poor. As a result, the child union met or meet with all the various unions in the rest of the country. And on the 7th of January, we wrote a petition to the Honorable Minister of Communications. And the stated petition to the Minister of Communications, the Honorable Minister of Communications, we stated clearly the need to quickly set down negative conditions of service of staff to help motivate the staff in order to give on their best. Among the items we listed, we talked about, for instance, we were given an item allowance for salary 2012. That amount of money, the percentage has been tagged to the 2012 salary up to now. Now it has been taken up to about 1% or thereabouts. When you go outside to our offices, most of our staff offices and offices are in deplorable condition. Basic things that we need even to go about our work are very difficult to come by. So we stated all these things in the letter, hoping that at least we will catch the attention of the ministry, we will engage us and pick up from there. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. We just in the letter, we gave an objection up to the 15th of February that if nothing is done about our petition with the site ourselves. So we met between yesterday and today, and the resolution from all the staff is that we've had enough. This has been a recurring problem. We have tried solving it with management several, it doesn't seem to work. So if our mother ministry would also not give us a hearing at least, then we need to come out so the world will know about our demands.
The First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, has presented a check in the amount of 50,000 Ghana cedis to support the Apiate Support Fund. It is in response to calls for financial assistance to rebuild the Apiate community. Hers is among 5 other presentations made by some institutions and individuals, including the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Jinapo, and the Consolidated Bank Ghana. Monies to be realized by the Apiate Support Fund will go into the reconstruction of the proposed green city of the community falling flat. Apiate Thursday city check from the First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, is in addition to other foodstuff and household items presented to the community in the early days of the disaster.
I have invited you here today to give my donation and also to encourage all Ghanaians to do what they can to help with the reconstruction of Apiate. We all have to do our bit to help.
The chairman of the Apiate Support Fund, Madam Joyce I, thanked the First Lady for heeding to the Obian Tuebi call.
Already made a contribution to the relief of the victims of Apiate, and we were told by our Honorable Minister that you still feel so empathetic that you would like to make some donation towards the reconstruction of the township.
Also with his donation was the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Jinapor, with 20,000 Ghana cedis. His contribution is a show of leadership as the sector minister overseeing the mining sector. He said rebuilding Apiate must happen soonest with support from Ghanaians to Ghanaians. Also with a donation to the support fund was the Chinese embassy in Ghana, presenting a check of 50,000 cedis. The embassy is the first foreign mission in Ghana to support the fund. The Consolidated Bank Ghana had 100,000 Ghana cedis for the Apiate Support Fund. Presenting the check, the Managing Director of CBG, Mr. Daniel Ado, said, reaching out to the people of Apiate speaks to their tagline, "We stand with you." Heading the Apiate Reconstruction Committee, Mr. Benito Owusubiu said, every penny counts, hence making a donation of 5,000 Ghana cedis to shore up the funds for the reconstruction project. Finally was the Kesben Outreach Foundation, a subsidiary of the Kesben Group, also with a check of 50,000 Ghana cedis. The foundation also pledged 3,000 bags of cement towards the rebuilding of the collapsed community, all in an effort to complement government's efforts. For GBC. The words of Psalm 100 verse 4 were brought to life when management and staff of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation held their annual Thanksgiving service to appreciate God as an individual and as a corporate body for his presence and mercy over the past year. The theme for the gathering in his presence was "Enter his gate with thanksgiving in your heart." In the Upper East region are complaining about their poor road network. They said the road gets worse in the rainy season. Peter Agri from GBC's Upper East office has visited the district and has compiled this report.
State of the major routes to some of the district's commercial centers. They say in the rainy season especially, it is difficult for residents to access basic social amenities. The grievance is that the bad roads are also threatening their lives and properties. The paramount chief of the Sekote traditional area, Naba Asigri Bewong, appealed to the government to quickly intervene with improved roads so farmers can easily transport their produce to other parts of the region.
From Ghana through Zaleru, Damologo, Pirungo. From Pirungo to Yakote, joining the neighborhood. Then from Pirungo to Sokote should also be rehabilitated. So I want to appeal to government to complete the road.
For many years, the Zaleru, Damologo, Pirungo stretch of road has remained unmotorable. Traders from Bolgatanga are forced to use the Congo-Nangode-Yakote road to gain access to the biggest Pilingo market in the district. The Pilingo to Sekote road has deep potholes, dangerous curves, and is very narrow for drivers and motor riders. Some road users who spoke to GBC News said they become dirty whenever they travel on these roads to work.
When you are riding, whether you're a motorbike or a car, and somebody is behind you, the track is too much. You cannot see the front or the back.
When you are going to what occasion, you can use a white shirt or anything that is nice for you. For now, look at the way I dress. From here to here, I'm already dirty.
When we are carrying pregnant women as well as sick people, it's always a very challenging thing that we are going to. But we are left with no option than to manage the road that way. It is actually our wish that government will pay quick attention to it for us.
The Nabdan District Chief Executive, Madam Agnes Anamo, said her office is working hard to get these roads fixed in the shortest possible time. She pleaded with the people to be a bit more patient and support her to get the job done.
It was just last month we went to the Minister too and spoke about these roads. And these were the same roads I complained as myself and the paramount chiefs went Then I told them, they said, okay, as for those roads, they have been constructed, and very soon contractors will be on site.
The people say due to the dust from the roads, they always catch colds and are unable to wear white clothes. So until the roads are fixed, these problems, including the extremely bad situation in the rainy season, will remain on the top of their priority list. Peter Agengre, GBC News, Nabdam District.
And now back to our earlier story, the words of Psalm 100 verse 4 were brought to life when management and staff of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation held their annual Thanksgiving service to appreciate God as individuals and also as a corporate body for his grace and mercy over the past year. The theme for the gathering in his presence was Enter his gates with thanksgiving in your heart. The worshippers experienced the visitation of the Lord as the GBC Evergreen Choir and a gospel musician, Sika Ejapon, led in soul-lifting song ministration and songs of worship. The parish priest of the Queen of Peace Catholic Church, Medina, Reverend Father Anthony Didongo, emphasized the importance of thanksgiving.
In the midst of challenges, society can put pressure. We can lose focus and say, yes, all is lost, all is done. But it is even in the midst of challenges and difficulties when others feel it is not possible that we give thanks to God so that he himself will let us know that he is a God who does what he wants to do.
The acting director of television, Mr. Ebenezer Mpabin, called on the staff to change GBC and the world as they enter his gates with thanksgiving.
If we actually met God with thanksgiving, then we can be confident that GBC is not going to be the same again. Ghana is not going to be the same again. It will reflect in our families, it will reflect in our communities, it will reflect in GBC, and Ghana will be the better for it.
We ask your blessing, Father, upon GBC in the name of Jesus.
The General Overseer of the Global Revival Ministries, Reverend Dr. Ampia Kofi, led an intercessory prayer for the country, the political leaders, and GBC.
May your hand be upon every life, your protection be on them, for when they have peace in their homes.
The event was christened Enter his gates with thanksgiving in
You're watching the Major News live on GTV and GBC News. We are back after this break. Do stay.
Good evening, welcome to Business, brought to you by Quick Credit. In business tonight, President Akufo-Addo has been making some new appointment to government agencies, and Pamela Jamson Tete has been appointed new managing director of the Ghana Airport Company. She takes over from Mr. Yao Kwakwa, who was dismissed weeks ago. Madam Pamela Jamson Tete has over 25 years of proven track record in senior management, including 9 years in the mining industry, 9 years in the manufacturing sector, and 5 years in the power sector. In the statement by the company, Madam Jamson Tete is described as strategically astute, possesses a strong ability to build sustainable relationships with excellent interpersonal communication and language skills. The statement stated that Pamela has excellent analytical skills with a strong bias for political science, government relations, community relations, environment, international relations, and diplomatic protocols. From 2001 to 2009, Pamela was Executive Director and Director of Corporate Relations at Diageo, Ghana. Madam Jamson Tete holds a BA degree in International Relations from the United States International University Hertz, a postgraduate diploma in Politics and Diplomacy from the University of Kent, UK, and an MA degree in International Relations, University of Kent, UK. She is also an accredited member of the Institute of Public Relations, Ghana. Meanwhile, former Deputy Sports Minister Perry Okojato and Mrs. Linda Asante have been appointed Deputy Chief Executives of the National Petroleum Authority. In a statement, the NPA confirmed the appointment of Mr. Perry Okojato and Mrs. Linda Asante during the governing board meeting on its 29th ordinary meeting held on February 15. Both Perry Okojato and Linda Asante would complement the works of the Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, in directing the administration of the Petroleum Regulatory Body. Also in business, the market share of pension funds on the Ghana Stock Exchange doubled in 2021, but their appetite for equities remained low. Pension funds holdings on equities grew 4% in 2021 compared to 1.5% in 2020. The exchange has since been engaging fund managers, urging them to increase their interest in equities to help improve the market's liquidity.
As at the end of 2020, about 98% of our pension fund managers hold Government of Ghana securities. And thankfully, through our engagement with them last year, we saw that they doubled their uptake and came into our equity market strongly. But of course, as you saw from the charts, the foreign pension funds continue to dominate 69% of the trades in our market. The engagement continues. It starts with education. So we've been meeting the corporate trustees as well as the individual trustees. Last year we held 2 formal training sessions for them in partnership with the NPRA, the SEC. This year we plan the same number. We'll be going to their boardrooms. We are working with their fund managers, and many of them are beginning to see the need for them to invest in. In fact, they are asking us, what should we buy? Give us products to buy. And that is why for us, the push to bring new issuances, more IPOs onto the market is critical so that they can participate not just in the already existing companies, but also new companies coming up. The other thing we need to look at is what we call the market float. So today we have about 36 companies, but very few of them trade. So even the type of company that we are able to attract onto the market is very, very critical for us. You should come to the market with enough securities out there so that people can buy and sell when they need to get in and out.
And the Ghana cedi losing grounds, especially against the US dollar, now selling at 6 cedis 31 pesos to the dollar and at 8 cedis 57 pesos to the pound sterling, going for 7 cedis against the euro.
Hello, good evening. This is the energy segment. My name is Mabel Anang. Fuel prices are already hitting 8 Ghana cedis per litre as projected by the Institute of Energy Security IES in the second pricing window. Total is selling at 7 cedi 99 pesos for both diesel and petrol. IES forecast that fuel prices are expected to go up by a little, about 4% this week. At the pumps,
Total Ghana has always been the highest price among its competitors, followed by Shell, which is selling petrol at 7 Ghana cedis 48 pesos and diesel for 7 Ghana cedis 43 pesos per litre. Petrol, Sol and Puma are also trading at 7 Ghana cedis 43 pesos a litre for both petrol and diesel. Allied Oil, which is middle priced, is offering the products at 7 Ghana cedis 40 pesos. Goil, Star Oil, Zen Petroleum and Bernard Oil are the lowest priced. They are trading a litre of petrol and diesel between 7 Ghana cedis 15 pesos and 7 Ghana cedis 30 pesos. These are prices at the pumps this week. They are likely to increase in view of the fluctuation in crude oil prices on the international commodities market and OPEC plus inability to produce more crude oil to meet demand.
To some more news, the Bank of Ghana predicts that crude oil prices will stay within the $71 and $79 per barrel bracket for the greater part of 2022. This comes despite the commodity trading above $90 a barrel in recent times. According to the latest monetary policy reports by the Bank of Ghana, global oil markets will be subject to significant uncertainties in 2022 due to the resurgence of the COVID-19 pandemic and its effect on economic growth, oil demand, and the production decisions of oil-producing countries. Now, the unsafe practice of buying and transporting fuel in gallons is said to be on the increase in the country. The reason attributed to this is that most motorists drive with low fuel in their fuel tanks. They therefore resort to the use of gallons to purchase fuel when they run out of fuel while on their journey. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, COPEC, has expressed concern about the practice and called on the National Petroleum Authority to help curb the practice.